It may seem like the only thing happening in Congress these days is the never-ending fight over and of health reform. But if you happen to be watching the House floor at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, this is what you would have seen.
Who has consistently called for the cleanup of the corrupt Acorn, the criminal enterprise Acorn, and all of their affiliates? It's been people on the Republican side of the aisle that have done that. This is the star of Acorn. He is the lead chief organizer. He is the person who told the people at Acorn, I will invite you and we will be setting the agenda for America even before he's inaugurated as President of the United States. This is the man who worked for Acorn.
This is the star of Acorn. That was paranoid Republican Congressman Steve King of Iowa, today railing against the community organizing group Acorn and falsely accusing President Obama of being Acorn's lead chief organizer. This sort of animus toward Acorn is something that's been percolating on the right for a really long time now, but it's broken open recently as even Democrats in Congress have decided to go along with efforts to defund and demonize Acorn. And some Republican governors have even enthusiastically defunded Acorn as well, despite the fact that those governors didn't fund them in the first place. Thanks to the right-wing crusade against it, Acorn has become a household acronym and Republican America's most reliable trumped-up boogeyman. It was the 6th most covered story in the country last week. Acorn has been caricatured by people like Congressman King as a corrupt criminal enterprise that steals elections and turns a blind eye to prostitution. That's the storyline the mainstream media has latched onto as well. What you might not know from all of the breathless Acorn damnation coverage is what Acorn actually does. They do things like advocating for a higher minimum wage. They do things like helping low-income families file their taxes. They do things like helping low-income families find jobs. They do things like registering people to vote. That sort of work, as you might expect, has the tendency to rile up the kinds of industries that really don't want the minimum wage to go up and really aren't that psyched about lots of poor people being registered to vote. And as we discovered most recently in the healthcare debate, when industries sense a threat to their profits, they go into kill mode. They create corporate-funded, purportedly grassroots organizations to derail and destroy whomever they believe to be the source.
The pimp about how to get his money and protect his good name after he tells them he intends to run for Congress someday.
What you're going to have to do is say that you're getting a gift from somebody.
Okay.
Okay, but the money got to go in the bank.
And Baltimore weighed in on how to hide the fact that the brothel was going to be staffed by young girls brought in illegally from El Salvador.
When the girls come, they're really not going to be employees because you're not going to issue them W-2s at the end of the year. They're under 16, so you don't worry about that. But on the other part of the return, you can use them as a dependent.
Okay.
You can use them as a dependent because they live in your house, especially if they're under 16.
We tried to contact all of the workers in the 3 cities without success. Abby Boudreau, CNN, Atlanta.
Chapter.